this is a follow along to get your pancake nice and deep. So I am not one of those super flexible people who just always has a nice deep pancake. This is me kind of cold right now. But I'm gonna show you how I can get this chest almost to the floor in just around 15 to 20 minutes. So you can do this with me. Now, I always start with a wide leg good morning, because essentially this is the pancake position. And what we really wanna learn here is how to lift that tailbone up as we go down, keep our back nice and arched, and get our torso closer and closer to our thighs, right? So we start with this wide position and we just do these good mornings. You don't have to push yourself very much right here. We're just getting everything warmed up, getting those hamstrings used to lengthening. And I'm gonna say over and over again, it's all about bringing those sit bones up, keeping that arch in your back, and that is the key to getting your pancake nice and deep, okay? Now, if it starts to feel good as we go here, you can widen the legs, right? So the beauty of the pancake is you have to have flexible hamstrings and inner thigh adductors, right? So eventually we wanna start getting this wide and deep, and then this is gonna translate really nicely to our pancake, okay? So maybe around 10 reps there, 10 to 12 reps. And I always like to really warm up my deep squat as I'm transitioning into the pancake. Now, if you're like me, you have a bit stiffer ankles, you can always elevate to start here, because it's not about the ankles right now. It's about hip flexion, right? So you wanna practice driving your knees up towards your chest here, right? And we can just kind of just feel that, turn on those hip flexors. And if you have kind of a more shallow squat, you can still work on this, and actually pulling with those hip flexors might allow you to get a little bit deeper, right? And this isn't formal or anything. This is just spending some time in the squat, because the squat really mimics the pancake position just with a bent knee, right? So they complement each other very well. So I really like the seated good morning. Knees over toes guy was just here, and he showed us this variation of starting from the bottom up. So you don't have to use a weight, right? I'm gonna use this sandbag because I'm into sandbags right now, and this is actually super nice for get my hands under here. I have to get nice and deep. And look, this is this nice pancake position. I wanna try to pull the slack out, get my pelvis extended, and then lift up and control it on the way down, and feel my knees pushing out, and you'll feel those adductors kind of opening, right? So you can do this with a water bottle, you know? You can do it with a couple dumbbells, or you could just do it body weight. But the load kind of gives you something to help bring your body deeper, right? And especially when you're stiff, that load can really help break through some of those tight muscles and get into deeper ranges of motion. I'm gonna do 2 more. So this is training that pancake position without the hamstrings. But because we're doing our good mornings, we're working on the hamstrings as well. Now, we're gonna jump into our first actual pancake. And what a lot of people do is they start on the ground and it looks like a horrible rounded mess. I suggest starting some type of box or chair. Start even higher than you think that you should. So I get into my straddle position, and now this is all about learning this pelvis position. So not coming here, keeping my sit bones pulled up. I do that by contracting my hip flexors. That puts my hamstrings on length, lengthens them, stretches them, and then I just hinge my torso forward. And I'm trying, like, it doesn't mean that when you get in your pancake, you're gonna be completely extended like this, but fighting for that position is gonna help you stretch the hamstrings more. Boom. So this is a little bit higher than I would start. I often use this meditation / yoga pillow, and it's around 3 to 4 inches off the ground probably. And this is a really good place for me. And even though I can get myself to a deep pancake, I always start with my hips elevated. And if I'm training outside or something, I'll find just like a little hill to sit on. So the hips are higher than the feet. And we just do these hinges, just like we were doing standing up. Let's hold in the last one here. So I'm actually about to go do some press handstands after this. And that's something that requires a deep pancake, a good straddle position, nice and strong. And what you find is that the more you can turn on your hip flexors, the easier it is to pull you into that pancake position. So let's go back to wide leg straddle. You can see if you can go a little bit wider this time. Go this way. And we're seeing if we can get our chest down to parallel with the ground, right? And the wider that I go, now I feel like my adductors are really working here. And knees over toes guy I was talking about, can you get the forehead to the ground? It's kind of a nice standard. If you can do that, then you probably have all the length and strength through your adductors that you need, right? Coming out of my shoes here. And look, you don't need to do tons and tons of reps here. These are just preparatory movements to help us get into the pancake deeper when we do the pancake. So even this, I'm just gonna do about 5 reps here. With this, we get the added benefit of some nice lower back strength as well. Oh, nice and deep. And as you get that torso line down, you'll feel your hip flexors really firing. And you'll feel your hamstring stretching and your adductor stretching. So even in this, your hamstring stretch, but it's more up here. When we straighten the knee, now we're getting the hamstring, that full range of motion, and you'll feel it a lot behind the knees. So second round of that done. Now let's go back to squat. So this, we can just kind of take a little rest. I'm starting to get out of breath here. There's no reason to rush this. We want our body to feel calm. And already my squat is so much deeper than when we started. How much time are we in, Chrissy? What was that? So we're not even 8 minutes in and my position is getting so much deeper. This is what I want people to understand about flexibility training is flexibility is not yes or no. It's can we work into the position? Can we learn how to let our body release and use strength and use load to facilitate that, right? A lot of the time for stiffer guys like myself, it takes a little bit of resistance or manipulating your body into different positions to get the demand that then the body releases and gets a little bit deeper range of motion. So now we're gonna move back to pancake, right? So the prep movements are really important, but the way that you get a deeper pancake is you work on your pancake, right? So this one, I'm actually going to take my arms, and for you watching, if you don't have a deep pancake yet, still use that prop pillow. For me, I'm just gonna move to the ground here, even though it's filthy hot on my legs. I'm gonna reach my arms forward, and then I'm gonna lower it down. I'm gonna try to lift through my sit bones to keep my back a bit extended, and then I'm gonna come up, right? This is adding load without needing a weight, right? Reaching my arms out in front of me helps me lengthen my spine, and it also creates a longer lever. So now my hips and my hamstrings are like, whoa, what's going on? And we're just gonna work here. You wanna get your hands to the ground. Maybe you're starting kind of here. That's great. That's great, right? We just wanna get this torso to thigh angle deeper and deeper. Let's do 2 more. And what you can do, like I'm doing right now, let your torso come down a bit more before you set the hands down, right? So watch this. I'm reaching. I could set my hands down, but I'm gonna wait. Now my chin's to the ground. now my pancake's getting a bit deeper. So now we're just gonna rest. No more prep movements. We're all prepped up. As we rest, I will say that Cossack squats are another great one to use. Actually, so maybe you guys who are overachievers just wanna do a few Cossacks with me. So I like to start in this low horse stance here, and then I squat down to one leg, and the first reps can just kind of be just getting used to squatting in here, straightening this leg. You can lift the toe, you can keep it straight. If you keep it straight, you get more of this adductor stretching. And then what you'll see is, as you go, you'll be able to get a little bit deeper, get a little bit deeper. And now this is a great way to get those adductors ready for your legs to widen into the pancake, right? I find that people have different issues with the pancake. Some people are just extremely stiff in the hamstrings. For me personally, loosening up my adductors, getting those open, helped me in the pancake a lot. And then most people just don't know how to get that good pelvis position in the pancake, which just takes time. It takes doing this routine over and over. So we're gonna move into another set of pancake. If you have a little resistance to add in, these are 1.5 pounds. So this is 3 pounds in total. You do not need much here. Another way that I'll do this a lot of the time, just to use my water bottle. So we're gonna do similar to what we did on that last one, but instead of coming down, we're just gonna reach out this time, okay? So use your pillow, and if you're to this level, you can sit on the ground, and we reach, and we pull it back, okay? So reaching allows you to get that spine extended and elongated. You're gonna feel those hamstrings on a big stretch here. That's 3 on this, or let's do one more. Now, on this last one for our 5th rep, we're gonna keep the dumbbells in our hands off the ground for 5 to 10 seconds. Oh yes. Oh, I love that. I love that. So we'll take another rest here. Sit in your squat, sit cross-legged, whatever, breathe. Let your body relax. And we're only gonna do one more set of pancake. And you're gonna see how much deeper you've gotten in the course of around 15 minutes. Now, when you're starting to do really intense bouts of stretching here, it's important that you recover like you just did a hard strength training exercise, right? Like, my hamstrings are like starting to get wobbly in the legs here, you know, because I'm putting a lot of demand on them. So I need at least 1.5, 2 minutes recovery, if not 3 or 4 minutes, you know? I think that when it comes to training for intense flexibility like this, where we're using a lot of strength, it's quality over quantity. You don't need to do a ton, you just need to do some at a really high intensity and holding yourself to these markers, right? So I needed to hear this when I was starting out. I was trying to just get straight down to the floor, and my pancake was just super rounded. I was getting deeper, but it wasn't the proper way, right? It's important. If you build it the right way, with elevating your hips, working on some good preparatory movements, learning how to tilt the pelvis forward, then when you get to the ground, it's gonna be so good. So last set, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna reach the weights, then we're gonna set them down, and then we're just gonna reach our hands forward as much as we can. And we're gonna hold in the position for around 10 seconds. We're gonna do 3 reps of that, okay? So we're gonna reach. I'm gonna set them down. Now I'm just gonna reach my fingers, see if I can move past where the weights are. It'll come out. Whew, yes. We'll do 2 more of those. Reach the weights, hold the water bottle, whatever it is, set it down. Now reach the fingers past those weights. Let your torso fall to the ground under control. Relax. We'll do that one more time. This is gonna be our deepest one here, okay? Take a few deep breaths. All right, here we go. Set it down, reach. Now see if you can nudge your head down to the ground, chin down to the ground, chest down to the ground. Squeeze your hip flexors. And relax. Okay, so we can show on screen where I started, where I got to in that final set. It doesn't take long. Right? 15 minutes, you can do a lot of progress. If you do this twice a week is plenty, 3 times maybe, if you're like feeling super motivated to get the pancake deeper. Hope this helped you guys out. See you in the next one.